We talked earlier this morning about this loathsome little toad, Boasberg. The House of Representatives is going to have to move to impeach the guy. Bottom line, this is a guy that has authorized full-blown bullying and surveillance of some 430 different members of Congress and organizations tied to them in the Trump administration, all under the auspices of getting to the bottom of January 6th. Eric Schmidt summarized it this way yesterday in number 24.
Judge Boasberg gave a speech about how he was going to thwart the Trump agenda before he got those cases. He was not the assignment judge. The D.C. courts have a daily assignment judge. He wasn't the assignment judge. He's on vacation. Somehow gets these cases at 1 in the morning. Was he tipped off? Did somebody tell him these cases against President Trump and his agenda now were coming? I don't know. We should find that out. But Judge Boasberg, what he did to Senator Cruz and maybe other senators, absolutely, and I don't say this lightly, absolutely is worthy of impeachment proceedings. There has to be accountability. The American people have heard a lot about this, and you're going to hear more. We should have Watergate-style hearings on this for months. If we're ever going to root this out, we have to be serious about it, and consequences have to follow. Resignations, firings, criminal prosecutions. You simply can't, in this country, use the justice system to throw people in jail because they have a red jersey on or a blue jersey on.
And don't doubt, guys like me and many other people who work for apparently a lot of various media companies who lean conservative or are conservative, they were also under surveillance as well. Don't doubt that all of us wearing a red jersey would have been in jail today if Cacklebritches had won the presidency. I shudder to think what would happen if Donald Trump had not won this presidency for a host of reasons. Look, the case for impeachment is easily made. This is a Democrat Party revealing itself as a totally corrupt authoritarian organization, and it views the rule of law and Democrat institutions and borders and fair elections as just obstacles to their permanent power. They operate like a mafia syndicate, fabricating hoaxes, weaponizing every lever of government, lying shamelessly, even tolerating, if not outright enabling, violence against opponents to cling to control. This Boasberg goon, the worst of the worst, the poster child for judicial overreach, blatant partisan bias. This is a lifetime Obama appointee, and these rulings that he's issued have shredded the Constitution. It shields a bunch of deep state crooks. It's turned federal courts into torpedoes against conservatives. It's not just bad judging from the bench. This is impeachable high crimes and misdemeanors stuff. It's under Article 3's good behavior clause. Look it up. This demands Johnson and House Republicans strip him of his robe right now to save the rule of law. You know, when it came to that FBI liar, Kevin Kleinsmith, he just got a little slap on the wrist. That's the guy that doctored the evidence in the Trump-Russia hoax. Boasberg presided over the FISA court that rubber-stamped surveillance of Trump and his team. Boasberg is the same guy who excused institutional rot while persecuting anybody aligned with Trump. This is a pattern of left-wing weaponized prejudice, and it has eroded truth and trust, and it's got to end. The breaking point came in March of this year. Boasberg issued this reckless order yanking deportation flights midair over international waters, forcing the return of that Venezuelan thug, a Tren de Aragua gang member, that was sent packing as Trump invoked the Alien Enemies Act, which was totally constitutional. These thugs, convicted of kidnapping, child sex abuse, cop assaults, they were threats to American safety. Trump made them a priority. Boasberg tried to save the thugs. Boasberg intervened in core executive powers related to immigration and national security without any evidence or due process. He's also slapped the Trump administration with contempt threats, rushed deadlines under 48 hours. He's even tried appointing an outside prosecutor sparking another constitutional crisis that even drew a rebuke from John Roberts, no less, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Congressman Brandon Gill filed impeachment articles that month charging Boasberg with endangering lives and legislating from the bench. Gill should be listened to now. Equally damning is his starring role in Operation Arctic Frost we've been talking about this morning. This is the Biden DOJ's stealth probe under that thug Jack Smith, who looks like he's been pulled from a drain. 430 Republicans and organizations, their cell phones, landlines, 20 Senate GOP officials like Ted Cruz and Grassley and Johnson, all on that bogus probe of the 2020 election overturn efforts or whatever. Boasberg secretly approved fishing expeditions, smearing Cruz as a flight risk for evidence tampering, a guilty until proven innocent libel that guts due process and reeks of the FISA abuses he also once oversaw. The Senate Judiciary documents from Grassley and Johnson that have been exposed this year in this hit job, 92 different GOP targets, from Charlie Kirk to grassroots groups spied on by the FBI in a partisan echo of Crossfire Hurricane before it. Pam Bondi calls this unconstitutional warfare on democracy, but I would call it something much worse. It's Boasberg's sordid history, and it demands removal, impeachment from the bench. This guy's rap sheet does not stop there. These draconian January 6th sentences, griping that laws weren't harsh enough to punish people from January 6th, forcing Pence to give anti-Trump testimony, gutting executive privilege, blocking Trump priorities like the Dakota Access Pipeline, handcuffing ICE on asylum detentions. The time is now, House Republicans. Impeach this SOB Boasberg. Not for payback, but to reclaim the judiciary because it has lost its way. This Arctic Frost garbage wasn't just a sloppy probe. It was a deliberate blueprint for how unelected bureaucrats can hijack the DOJ and the FBI to surveil and silence and smear anyone daring to question an election. It shreds the Constitution's guardrails, proving that without accountability, our democracy, our republic, is just one partisan power grab from being a one-party surveillance state where dissent equals a criminal rap sheet. Mere dissent. Democrats are often fond of saying democracy dies in the darkness, right? Well, Operation Arctic Frost is them stabbing it in the back in the dead of night, weaponizing the FBI to spy on 430 Republicans, subpoenas for emails, phone, bank records, all greenlit by Jack Smith and this Boasberg goon. It's difficult to even grasp the scope of this, really. And what's the end game? Well, of course, it's a surveillance state. I've played the montage for you. Dissenters get dragged into court just for asking questions, silenced on social media to boot. Now, that's not protecting the republic. This is building a cage for your political opponents. A 197 subpoena blitzkrieg on 430 Republicans? It had nothing to do with the election and January 6th. This Arctic Frost garbage was about using the awesome power of the United States criminal justice system to turn dissenters like you and me into prisoners. This exposes the DOJ FBI cabal as a rogue regime, not the guardians of law they purported to be, but architects of a fourth branch tyranny, where elections get prosecuted and the Bill of Rights is shredded. This is a sickening and breathtaking scandal. It's a smoking gun. Republicans were to be politically assassinated in broad daylight by the very defenders who cry wolf. This demands real action, House Republicans. This is the real No Kings rallying cry. Like the raid of Trump's home, this is that on steroids. If we allow this as a country to go unpunished, there is no coming back from it. You got me? America dodged a bullet when that pretend vice president and Tim Walz were sent packing in this last election. Democrats are not a party. They're an insurgency. I mean, who could have guessed that the party of mandates for taking experimental medicines and police-enforced lockdowns that destroyed businesses and school children, who could have guessed they'd turn out to be so massively corrupt? Who'd have thunk it? They're the real kings. Nancy Pelosi talking about no king's protests were not political. They were spontaneous and organic. The hell they were. Give me number 20. Here's sloppy choppers.
Because I see the Democrats every day. You saw a march that was not political. And the value of it was that it wasn't political. No King's Day. It was spontaneous, organic, but everybody was there. And that's what's important, is what are the people thinking? What are they hopeful about? What are they willing to get out the vote for?
The polygrip is really not holding up. Sloppy choppers. It's really starting to fall out of her head. Of course, it was not organic. These people are kings. They're tyrants, as a matter of fact. They've got to be brought to heel. And J.D. Vance is exactly right. Number 28, one more time. It's worth hearing again. Give me J.D. Vance yesterday.
Here's something that I want every conservative to remember. It's an important part of my entire political philosophy is we cannot be afraid to do something because the left might do it in the future. The left is already going to do it regardless of whether we do it. That is the takeaway of the last 40 years.
That's exactly right. Yes. Impeach Boasberg now. Right now.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.